The door to my office swung open at 1:35 on a gray Tuesday afternoon, and the world I had carefully rebuilt over the last decade cracked wide open. I was leaning over blueprints for a new loop high-rise when my assistant tapped lightly and announced my 2 o'clock had arrived early. Ryan. Sophia Bennett is here for the custom residence consultation. I didn't even look up at first. Send her in. Paper slipped from my fingers the moment she stepped across the threshold. There she stood, Sophia Langford. Now Bennett, 10 years older. Polished in a tailored charcoal sheath dress that hugged the same graceful frame I once knew by heart. Her dark waves were cut to shoulder length, framing those warm hazel eyes that used to light up when she saw me. But today those eyes held a storm of nervousness, sadness, and something sharper I couldn't name yet. Ryan, she said softly, her voice carrying the same gentle cadence that once soothed my worst nights during finals week. Sophia. The name left my mouth like a prayer and a curse. My heart slammed against my ribs. What are you doing here? She took a measured step inside, closing the door behind her with quiet finality. I need an architect. Your firm came highly recommended for contemporary residential work in the North Shore area. I didn't realize it was you until I saw the name on the proposal packet. I forced myself to breathe. Of course, she hadn't known. Bennett was her married name. I'd seen the ring the second she entered, simple platinum band glinting under the recessed lights. My own wedding band suddenly felt heavy on my finger. 5 years with Claire. A good woman who taught literature at a local college and deserved far more than a husband still haunted by ghosts. Congratulations, I managed. The word tasting metallic. On the marriage. Thank you. And you? She nodded toward my hand. I noticed the ring too. 5 years. Claire. The silence stretched, thick with everything unsaid. My assistant had already slipped out, sensing the charged air. Maybe this was a mistake, Sophia murmured, half turning toward the door. I can find someone else. No, the word came too fast. I steadied myself. We're both professionals. I'm one of the best in the city, for what you want, a modern family home with river views on 2 acres. Sit. Let's talk specs. She settled into the leather chair opposite my desk, legs crossed elegantly, but her fingers twisted the strap of her handbag. For the next 20 minutes we discussed square footage, sustainable materials, open-concept living spaces bathed in natural light. Every technical detail felt like walking a tightrope. My mind kept flashing to senior year at the University of Illinois Chicago, late nights in the library, her head on my shoulder, whispering dreams of building a life after graduation. The lot has a gentle slope down to the water, she was saying. I want the main living area to feel like it floats above the landscape. A place where a family could grow. Family. The word landed like a stone in my chest. You and your husband are planning children? She hesitated, a flicker of pain crossing her face. We've been trying for a couple of years. Fertility treatments. It's complicated. I'm sorry. That must be hard. I wasn't sorry in the selfish corner of my heart, and the guilt over that realization burned. Then she blindsided me. Ryan, why did you never answer the letter I left you? I stared, pulse roaring in my ears. What letter? The one where I asked you to meet me at Union Station if you still wanted us. If you loved me enough to choose our future together instead of letting distance win. My mouth went dry. Sophia, you left me a letter saying you were moving back east after graduation. That our relationship had been a beautiful mistake. And I shouldn't contact you anymore. I still have it. I read it until the paper wore thin. The color drained from her cheeks. That's not what I wrote. I never said it was a mistake. I waited 4 hours at that station. Ryan. For hours watching trains leave, hoping you'd walk through the doors. We sat frozen, the air between us electric with dawning horror. Something had gone terribly wrong 10 years ago, and the truth was finally clawing its way to the surface. That evening I sat in my car outside the Fairmont Hotel downtown. The manila envelope containing the letter that had shattered me resting on the passenger seat. Claire was at a faculty dinner, giving me a narrow window to chase answers. Sophia met me in the quiet lobby bar, carrying a small carved wooden keepsake box I recognized instantly, the one she'd filled with ticket stubs, pressed flowers, and notes from our 2 years together. "You kept that," I said, voice rough. Some memories refuse to be discarded, no matter how painful. We found a shadowed corner booth. She slid a folded page across the polished wood. "This is what I actually wrote." I kept a practice draft because I rewrote it 3 times, wanting it perfect. My hands shook as I unfolded it. The handwriting was unmistakably hers, flowing, slightly slanted. The same loops I'd seen on birthday cards and study notes. "My dearest Ryan, we've talked so much about after graduation. I've been offered a position at a Chicago law firm, and I'm willing to stay here to build a life with you if that's what you want to. Meet me at Union Station tonight at 6 if your heart is in this the way mine is. We can take the 7:30 train together or go back to my place and start planning. If you don't come, I'll understand you're not ready, but I hope you do. I can't imagine my future without you. All my love, Sophia." I read it twice, each pass carving deeper into my chest. This was the woman I'd fallen for. Brave, romantic, willing to risk everything. Nothing like the cold dismissal I'd received. "Someone forged the letter I got," I said, voice barely above a whisper. "It was your handwriting almost. But the G in my name was wrong." The tone was formal, distant. "You never called me Ryan in letters, you always use nicknames." She leaned in, examining the fake. "It's close enough to fool someone who wasn't looking carefully. Who had access. Ryan? Who knew your apartment. Knew my handwriting style." My roommate, my best friend, Marcus Hale, flashed in my mind. Art major. Always around when Sophia visited. Eyes lingering a beat too long. He'd asked about her constantly. Offered to drop off notes. Marcus. He was jealous. I saw it but never wanted to believe it. The betrayal landed like a physical blow. We spent the next hour piecing together the timeline. Sophia had slipped the real letter under my door the afternoon before graduation. Marcus must have intercepted it, copied her style painstakingly, possible for an artist, then replaced it with the breakup forgery. He tried contacting her afterward. Casual invitations she'd declined. 10 years, she whispered, tears glistening. We lost everything because of one person's jealousy. I reached for her hand across the table, then stopped myself. We were both married. The touch would cross a line neither of us was ready for yet. But the current between us hummed with unfinished possibility. Over the following weeks, our meetings about the house design became exquisite torture. I poured every suppressed emotion into the plans: a sun-drenched great room opening to a deck overlooking the river, a nursery wing bathed in morning light, a master suite with a reading nook perfect for the lawyer who once stayed up debating philosophy with me until dawn. Each revision session, we kept conversations strictly professional, yet every glance carried weight. At home, Claire noticed my distraction. You've been quiet lately. Is the new client project that stressful? I lied smoothly, hating myself. Just a complex site. It'll pass. But it wouldn't. Every night I lay awake replaying the letters. The station. The years I'd spent convincing myself Sophia hadn't loved me enough to stay. The anger at Marcus grew into a quiet fury. But more terrifying was the realization that the love I'd buried had never died. It had only waited. The construction site became our unintended confessional. Weeks turned into months as the house took shape, clean lines of glass and cedar rising above the wooded slope. Sophia and I met there after hours. Hard hats on, walking through framing that would one day hold family dinners I could only imagine. One crisp evening she stood in what would be the living room, gazing at the river view. I can't keep pretending. Ryan. Pretending what? That knowing the truth hasn't changed everything. That I can go home to Michael and act like the last decade wasn't built on a lie. My breath caught. Sophia. We're both married. We have lives. Responsibilities. She turned, eyes fierce. We were robbed. Marcus stole our chance. And I refuse to let that theft dictate the rest of my life. Michael is a decent man. But he's not you. He never has been. 3 years of treatments and still no baby. I see now it's because we're both settling. The words gutted me because they mirrored my own secret truth. Claire was kind, supportive, everything a partner should be, yet my heart had stayed locked in 2014 with the girl who once danced with me in the rain after finals. We talked for hours that night about the guilt, the logistics of divorce, the fear of hurting innocent people. Sophia cried quietly when she spoke of Michael's quiet patience through the fertility struggle. I confessed that Claire had once asked if there was someone I'd never gotten over. And I'd lied. The decision crystallized slowly, painfully. We couldn't build happiness on the foundation of 2 broken marriages. Claire deserved someone who could love her fully. Michael deserved the same. The conversations with our spouses were the hardest chapters. Claire's quiet tears and dignified acceptance cut deeper than shouts ever could. I always knew part of you was somewhere else, she said, slipping off her ring. I hoped love would be enough. It wasn't. Michael took the news with stunned hurt but eventual understanding. He'd felt the ghost too. Through it all, the house progressed. I bought out Michael's share of the property once the divorce finalized, turning what was meant for another life into ours. The nursery we'd sketched together waited, hopeful. 6 months later, Sophia and I stood together at Union Station, not running away, but finally arriving. She carried one suitcase, wearing the same shade of blue she'd worn the day she waited for me a decade earlier. You came, she said, relief and joy breaking across her face. I should have come 10 years ago. We're here now. We didn't board a train to somewhere exotic. We went to the apartment I'd rented after separating from Claire, talking until sunrise about the years lost, the people we'd become, the dreams still alive. We chose not to hunt Marcus down. Giving him power over our healing felt wrong. The guilt lingered longer than either of us expected. Some nights I'd wake reaching for Claire's side of the bed only to remember the new reality. Sophia wrestled with similar shadows, wondering if she'd been selfish, if the fertility struggles had been punishment for holding back her heart. But the love we rediscovered proved resilient. We moved into the completed house as the leaves turned gold. The river view from the deck became our evening ritual, wine in hand, watching sunsets paint the water. The nursery stayed empty for a while. A patient promise. One ordinary Tuesday morning, Sophia woke me with shaking hands and a positive test. The joy that flooded us was indescribable, proof that second chances could create new beginnings. Our daughter arrived 8 months later, tiny, fierce, with Sophia's hazel eyes and my stubborn chin. Holding her that first night in the home I designed with our lost future in mind felt like rewriting history. Then, 2 years after our reunion, an unexpected envelope arrived. Postmarked Seattle. From Marcus. The letter was short, Aaron, trembling in places. Ryan and Sophia, I saw your wedding announcement in the alumni magazine. 10 years too late. But I need to apologize. I was young, jealous, convinced I deserved her more. I intercepted the letter, forged the breakup note. I thought breaking you up would give me a chance. I was wrong about everything. Living with that guilt has been its own prison. Seeing you found each other again gives me hope that real love survives even the worst sabotage. I don't expect forgiveness, but I am truly sorry. Marcus. We read it together on the deck. Our little girl napping inside. Sophia's eyes filled, but didn't spill over. I forgive the boy who is stupid and in love. I don't forgive the 10 years he stole. But anger won't poison what we've rebuilt. I pulled her close. Some love survives anything, even deliberate cruelty. We're stronger now because we had to fight for it. Looking back, the house we built became more than architecture. It was a testament to resilience. The glass walls let in every sunrise, reminding us daily that light returns after the longest nights. Our daughter's laughter echoed through rooms once sketched in grief and hope. People ask sometimes what would have happened without Marcus's interference. Would we have stayed together effortlessly? Maybe. But the decade apart forced us to grow, me into a more present partner, Sophia into a woman who knew exactly what her heart required. The moral lingers like river mist at dawn. Love can be stolen by jealousy, delayed by misunderstanding, but it cannot be killed if it is true. The real cruelty isn't the betrayal itself, it's choosing to stay in half-lives afterward, afraid to claim what was always yours. We chose courage over comfort, honesty over obligation. The guilt faded. The regret of never trying would have lasted forever.
Now,
when I watch Sophia rocking our daughter on the deck overlooking the water, or when our little girl reaches for both our hands, I feel the full weight of the gift we almost lost. Some loves are strong enough to outlast time,
lies,
and even our own fears. What would you have done in our place? Stay in safe but incomplete marriages? Or risk everything to reclaim the love that never truly left? The question stays with me, a quiet echo in the home we finally built together.